Now that the 2019 All-Star Game is passed, the MLB now shifts its focus to the 2020 game in LA. Seriously, how cool is that logo? Now while the 2019 game was a huge success, there's still room for improvement. Here's 5 things that could be done to make the All-Star Game a better experience for both fans and players. Number 1. Fan voting. This issue was strongly brought to light as many fans disliked how it worked this year. The idea of fan voting makes sense. A game of All-Stars voted in by the fans sounds good, but the way it was executed this year doesn't. Fans can vote for batters, but somehow it's the players and coaches that elect the pitchers. Sounds a bit weird, right? Now when you realize what power the fan holds when electing the batters, it could be deadly. What it turns into is essentially a popularity contest. Anthony Rendon is quietly having one of the best seasons of his career, and yet didn't crack the top 3 in fan voting for All-Star third baseman. What's even worse is somehow Albert Almora Jr. was in the top 9 for starting outfielders. No disrespect to Almora, he is a good player, but is he All-Star worthy? No. With fans not allowed to vote for pitchers, snubs often result. This is Blake Snell. Yes, I know he isn't having the strongest season this year, but last year, he was untouchable. In fact, he probably deserved to start the game last year. And yet, you know how he got to be on the team? An injury replacement. We're talking about the 2018 Cy Young Award winner here, and yet it took an injury to another All-Star for him to get the recognition he deserved. Now, I don't think fan voting will be replaced. I actually like the concept, but it sure needs to be tweaked. You can start by allowing fans to vote for both hitters and pitchers. The idea that fans can vote for one side, and yet not the other, it really needs to change. There also needs to be some kind of restriction that limits the players eligible for being voted. Overall stats, number of games played, etc. Number 2, the 1 player per team rule. Every year the same thing happens. You have tanking teams such as the Marlins and Orioles get All-Stars, even though really nobody in their team is having an All-Star worthy season. This concept was meant to have fans from all teams watch the game, but it's slowly starting to become a joke. Why take away a roster spot of a deserving player for a mediocre player that's standing out on a tanking team? Doesn't really make sense, does it? Number 3, the game needs to count again. Now I know they just recently changed this, but it would provide a more competitive atmosphere for the players and fans. Look at other games such as the NBA, NFL, and NHL All-Star games. They're worth nothing, and nobody tries, so it's so boring for fans. Now, but that being said though, World Series advantage is not the answer. Look at 2016. The Cubs had the best record in baseball by a landslide, but didn't get the home field advantage in the World Series. Why? Because the NL lost that year. I mean, it didn't matter because we all know how that ended that year.
The Cubs win the World Series!
But still, why rob a team of home field advantage just because other players lost the All-Star game? A game where you might have 2 or 3 players from that team playing in it. Number 4, there should be more contests done besides the home run derby. I'm sure we've seen the video of Japanese bunt challenges during their All-Star games, but stuff like that would be very interesting to watch. It doesn't just have to stop there either. Events such as a pitching accuracy challenge, or a strongest arm, or maybe even a fastest runner would be a huge success. Now that I mentioned the home run derby, there could be some things tweaked there as well. There should be a way to bring fan voting into the derby. It seems like year after year, fans want players to be in the derby, but the players don't make the cut, even if sometimes they want to. It happened again this year as somehow Carlos Santana made it over Joey Gallo. Really? Fans should be able to vote in their top 8, and then the players could decide if they want to do it. This could go a long way in making the derby better, although it's going to be hard to top this one. I mean, come on, how amazing was the home run derby this year? Lastly, one thing that would make the All-Star game a way better experience all around was actually scrapped a long time ago. Now the record holder for most All-Star game appearances belongs to Hank Aaron with 25. But Nick, he only played for 21 seasons. Well, back in his time, there were actually 2 All-Star games. One at the midway point of the season, and the other at the end of the season, similar to the Pro Bowl. This actually seems like a really good idea, because some players have slow starts and really heat up towards the end of the season. Look at Anthony Rizzo. He's always quiet at the beginning of the season, but puts up monster numbers towards the back half. This would be great for those players because they actually get recognition instead of just being snubbed from All-Star games because they don't heat up towards the end of the season. All in all, the All-Star game is a fun experience for both the players and fans. Numerous memories are made every year and opportunities continuously arise to make more. No memory is better than that of Jim Chapman, for with his two-seaman slider, he now is just signed to a multi-year deal to be the new closer for the New York Mets. Okay, I'll stop now.